Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm a qualified ANA. I'm in my final year of my veterinary nursing to be a registered veterinary nurse, RVN. I've passed all my written exams, I just have to do my practicals. I'm employed full-time in a small animal veterinary practice. I've been there nearly 7 years now. Carried out my studies at Caffrey College of Agriculture, Food and Rural Enterprise at the Greenmount campus in Antrim. ANA course was 1 year, the veterinary nursing course is 2 years. Coming into third year of my veterinary nursing to do my practicals. Previously worked abroad in Slovenia in a veterinary practice and some experience in a zoo out there. It was for a 2-week period organised through Greenmount. Thoroughly enjoyed the experience, would definitely do it again. One of the vets that I work with recommended the programme that I've just done in South Africa, HESC, which is Hoedspruit Endangered Species Centre. So I went on a 2-week programme through Student Conservation Programme. One of the vets that I said worked with, she had done the programme before, so it was highly recommended. I had a rough idea of what I'd be doing out there. So it was about, I had to fly from Dublin to London, Johannesburg, Johannesburg to Hoedspruit. About 24 hours of travel, but well worth the trip. So I was within Kapama Game Reserve, which is a private game reserve very close to Kruger National Park, Big 5 Game Reserve. So it was a voluntary programme. I paid to go on the programme. It covered food, accommodation, everything that I needed. And obviously the cost went back into the animals as well. So I stayed in student camp, Nungu camp. Pretty basic, as I said, Big 5 Game Reserve, so elephants, rhino, buffalo, lion, leopard. So you didn't wander off, put it that way. I stayed in a rondavel, which is basically just a wee clay hut with a thatched roof with a bed in it, very basic. But the camp still had all the facilities that you needed on a daily basis: food, kitchen, showers, toilets, a bed. There was no Wi-Fi, obviously, so no technology for 2 weeks, which was lovely. All the food was cooked on open fire, which they call a braai. So most nights were spent getting to know each other a bit better. Obviously there were other students doing the same programme in the exact same position as I was. Suited me just fine. So it was up to the volunteers to take part in anything needed to be carried out at the centre. Some days you were maybe up from 4:30 in the morning and you weren't getting back to camp until 5:30 that night. So it was quite hard work, but very rewarding. So basically what we were doing would have been anything from butchery with the meat. One day we offloaded 7.8 tonnes of carcasses. All goes for feeding the animals. You just have to get stuck in and take part in everything: butchery, feeding, mainly cheetahs. I think they had 106 cheetahs there. They run a breeding programme, obviously, because they're endangered. There's not very many left in the wild. So yeah, anything from that to moving sheep to a farm, maintenance, moving hay bales for the rhinos. It's not all bottle feeding and cuddliness. Obviously the hard work has to be done as well. That's just part of the programme. Sundays were days off, so we got to experience different things within Hoedspruit of South Africa that we wanted to do. We went water rafting, we met Jessica the hippo, which was just amazing. Once in a lifetime experience, certainly wouldn't get anything like that over here. And just general sightseeing and game drives of Kruger National Park and Kapama, which you wouldn't get anywhere else in the world, I don't think. So the tasks themselves were different to what I do in my daily job, but you know, the principles were the same. It all revolved around caring for the animals, which is what I do every day. So obviously the bigger the animals, the bigger the workload. So yeah. The equipment was pretty similar. They did have a veterinary hospital on site at the Endangered Species Centre. We got to watch some cheetah DNA testing, which was pretty interesting. Again, as I say, same principles from the drugs that they use for sedation to the actual tests carried out in terms of blood testing. The DNA testing was blood, hair, swabs, very similar to what you maybe be seeing in practice. Obviously just bigger quantities of things that were being used. Let's see. So yeah, the DNA testing on the cheetahs. The vet out there, I have to say, was brilliant. He previously worked at the centre, so he knew the animals very well. Very willing to teach and answer any questions. You could see that he had a passion for what he did. He actually runs an internship out there. There was a veterinary student and a veterinary nursing student with him at the time. They basically just shadowed him, and anything he got to do, they got to take part in as well, which I think would be an amazing programme to take part in. I suppose that's another option through a company called ACE, Animal Conservation Experience. They have lots of different programmes on there. I think the programme probably made me gain more confidence in what I do. It put into perspective how hard the curators work out there. So I definitely think twice about complaining about maybe having to do an hour's overtime compared to the shifts they are doing out there, sometimes through the night, bottle feeding every hour. I think it would probably look really good on a CV. Obviously any experience that you've done, to be able to say that you've went out and done something like that, regardless of the actual hands-on animal experience. It's quite a team building exercise. I think you have to be very selfless to do a program like that. You can't say you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. You have to just get stuck in and get on with it, and you all help each other from that aspect. So yeah, you just have to take part in every element of it and just go with it. When I got home, everyone obviously was very interested to hear what I'd been up to. I think I've maybe persuaded a few people to branch out a wee bit and just, if it's something you want to do, just go for it, just do it. I think everyone that I work with knows pretty well I don't want to come back to work, not because I don't love my job, I love what I do, but it's a culture shock, I think, going out to something like that and then coming home again. Definitely I'll be going back out. I'll be looking into other programs, maybe not necessarily in Africa, but I know the options are there now. I think that's the great thing about being, once I qualify, registered veterinary nurse. If there's things that you want to go and do, you have a qualification to back you up and go and do things like that, and people do want you, they want your experience, so the more you can get, the better. So yeah, I definitely love a challenge. I just get stuck in if something needs to be done. I feel I probably did learn new skills. I think I was capable of a lot more than what I give myself credit for, even physically. So yeah, in terms of communication and teamwork, I have lifelong friends now. I know it was only a 2-week program, but you're with these people 24/7. I have a friend now from Singapore. I have a friend from Belgium. I met people from Australia, England, Switzerland, just all over the world. That all have the same passion for animals and the same ideas with what they want to do with their career. But it certainly puts things into perspective, makes you appreciate simple things in life. No phones, no Wi-Fi, no internet, just the power of conversation, which I think is lost a wee bit. So yeah, just really encourages you to be yourself. You don't have to worry about cosmetic things. I think being in that position, as I said, you have to be completely selfless. You have to be a good team player. In terms of employability, I definitely feel I have a better attitude to work. And I do want to learn more. I want to be better every day at what I do. And you just don't know what opportunities veterinary nursing can open up. I had to wait a couple of years before I could even go and do the course, because we had other nurses doing the course at Greenmount, so I had to wait 2-3 years. And I think this is really just giving me the final push to get qualified and go and do these things. So, yep, thank you.